FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.
Welcome, and you are listening to the Financial Survival Network. I'm Kerry Lutz, and it's July 3rd, 2018, getting ready for the big day tomorrow. Fireworks, family, barbecue, all that great stuff. Hey, as always, be part of the conversation. Join the show. We value your words. We value your contribution. Just send us an email to kl@kerrylutz.com. Well, this seems to be blockchain day. One way or the other, I've been talking about blockchain nonstop. Is Bitcoin dead? Is Bitcoin going to come back? Does it matter? Hey, well, just remember who predicted the crash almost to the day when I published a newsletter on December 17th, 2017, saying that Bitcoin had had its run. It's coming back down to earth, not making predictions for its immediate future, but saying that an 80% decline probably wouldn't be out of order. So far, we've had 70% decline. It's been substantial, almost 75%. In fact, it's been substantial. I think it's going below 5,000 before it goes up again. In any event, it's not just a world of Bitcoin. There are lots of other cryptocurrencies out there, or currencies that possess properties similar to cryptocurrencies, but aren't really cryptocurrencies. That's what's interesting. Sean Worthington, your lead scientist at CloudCoin and the inventor of RADA, which you'll have to tell me what it is because I honestly don't know, but you've been working computer science and everything else for decades now, and you're the guy to talk to here for as far as how to detect counterfeit coins and security and all that such thing. Actually, the RADA stands for Redundant Array of Independent Detection Agents. Well, I can barely pronounce that, but it's interesting. Thanks for coming on, and welcome to the show, Sean.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
All right, so you got CloudCoin. All right. It's been trading since last year, since March of last year. What makes CloudCoin the cryptocurrency or cryptocurrency type analog currency of choice?
Well, because we were the first and only to develop a model of what is perfect money. And so if you want to have ideal money, first you have to have an understanding of what perfect money is. And what it turns out is that monetary systems are information systems, and they're basically databases. What they do is they track how much value that individuals put into the economy, and they make sure that those individuals get the same value or even more out. And money plays the role of data. And our brains are computers, and we take this data and we process it, we make decisions. And so the money makes basically our entire civilization, it commands and controls our entire civilization. And so what makes money good is that it's good at tracking who put money in and who should get money out. And there's a lot of things that go along with that. We have to have something called physical integrity, logical integrity, preferential integrity. And we think we've created the best coin ever that could be created. So that's why why we're around.
And so a lot of it has to do with the security, obviously. How do you exchange coins from one person to another or one party to another?
So with regular money, like dollar bills or gold coins or whatever you have, whoever has that money in their pockets or in their wallets, whoever has physical ownership of that is the owner of it. And it's the same thing with CloudCoin. If you have a file, then you're the owner of it, so long as you've done something called pwning, which is password owning. So I have a file that's got 25 different passwords in it. And if I want to buy something from you, I give that file to you. Now we both have that file with the passwords, but anybody that has the passwords can go up to this data structure called the RADA and change them. And once you change them, then I don't have the passwords anymore. You've got the passwords. And so you're the new owner. So this allows us to be able to trade without having accounts, without having public ledgers, and makes it much easier, faster, and more efficient.
Fascinating. So how long did this take to develop?
Well, I've been teaching computer science and systems engineers for about 17 years. And when I realized that that monetary systems were in fact just information systems, I realized I knew a whole bunch about money that I didn't think I knew about it. Mm-hmm. But to actually make the data structure and figure everything out took a good year, and then to actually implement it took another 6 months. It's been a lot of work.
Fascinating. So how many people have got these coins now?
I would estimate about 20,000 people worldwide.
Mm-hmm. And what's a coin trading at these days?
It's trading about 4 cents.
4 cents. And so obviously for something to be considered money, it's got to be a medium of exchange. And what can I buy with my cloud coins at this point?
Well, in the next few weeks, we're going to go live with XYZ Buys. And xyzbuys.com is a website that sells just about everything. So you'll be able to buy just about everything with CloudCoin there.
Aha. Okay. And how do you get a cryptocurrency accepted universally? How do you get people to take it?
Well, it's got to be liquid, which means that you've got to be able to change it into other things quickly, whether those other things are products or whether those other things are dollars or another currency like yuan, Chinese yuan, or Japanese yen. And so we've been undergoing a massive effort in the past 6 months to make things liquid. We're going to get on the BitShares exchange, which is going to allow you to exchange cloud coins for gold or silver, or even Chinese yuan.
Really? That's fascinating. So you got big plans for this.
Yeah, I think it should. I think that this is the currency that should dominate all other currencies. I don't see any reason why it should not.
Mm-hmm. And as far as, so you'll be able to trade it for other currencies, because obviously if you're going to compete with the US dollar can be used to buy anything. Granted, it might have become tarnished over the past decades because of inflation, et cetera, but still, yes, it is the reserve currency. And
absolutely, people respect the dollar. They want the dollar, and they want to be able to change cloud coins into the dollar whenever they want to, wherever they are in the world.
Right. So this is crucial. So the ability to exchange them, et cetera. Now, one of the things you were talking about security-wise was each coin actually has the password embedded in it. Do I have that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. There's 25 of the passwords, actually, and those are authenticated to 25 different independent clouds all over the world in different jurisdictions, and they all happen in parallel, so it only takes a second. But by having it so that the authenticity information is in the coin and not in the person, it allows us to diversify our risk. So instead of having all of our money in one account on a public ledger, where if you lose the private key, you basically lose everything, we can put some of our cloud coins in an email system, some of them on a USB drive, some of them on our mother-in-law's home computer, wherever you want to. You can spread them all out. And if a hacker attacks, they won't be able to get everything.
That's pretty cool, I got to say. Surprising that it can be done. And yet, so you don't have as big a risk if you forget your password that you'll never be able to get your crypto coins again, huh?
That's right. I mean, part of being a perfect currency is that, number one, it can't be stolen. Number two, it can't be lost permanently, at least. And number three, you can't just shut it down or have denial of service. And so we've made a currency that it cannot be permanently lost. If you lose your coins and you know the serial numbers still, you can file a lost coin report and get those back in 2 years if nobody's spent them. And you can also embed a hash of your email address into the coins, so that if you lose them completely, as long as you still know the serial numbers, then you can get them back immediately. So trying to get rid of all theft and loss. That's
really cool. So that addresses a lot of the problems, like having 24 words that you have to remember or whatever.
That's right. And we can, because all of the stuff is written down, that takes away from you having to remember things, but we can also put a PIN number on the money, and we can put biometric information. We haven't done this yet, but this is something that we're planning on doing. And that would make it so that if somebody actually did steal the money, they wouldn't be able to use it because they wouldn't know the password or the biometric code that's needed to unlock them.
That's pretty cool, I have to say, because one of the biggest problems, 25% of all the Bitcoin out there has been lost, whether it's a hard drive going to a landfill or people forgetting your passwords, whatever it might be, they get lost. And nothing more aggravating than trying to remember that darn password when you see Bitcoin at 19,000 and you've got a few hundred of them laying around that you can't put your hands on, right?
Absolutely. If you can lose your Bitcoins faster than you can mine them, then you're not going to have a currency anymore. And so one of the things that we realized is that we cannot have a currency in which we permanently lose coins. And in fact, the way that Bitcoin pays for its network is by creating or counterfeiting new coins. With Cloudcoin, we pay for it by being able to scavenge lost coins that have been lost permanently. So we never have that problem.
Yeah, I can see the value of it for sure. Hey, what's your feeling about the whole cryptocurrency space here? Where do you think this is all heading, after the crash of Bitcoin, Sean, and everything else crashed with it? Yeah. What's your take on it?
So my feeling is that along with, with any bubbles, the price of something ends up going down below what it should be. Mm-hmm. And I think that the price of Bitcoin could definitely go below 3,000. Mm-hmm. And the problem with that is that it costs about $3,000 to make a Bitcoin.
Correct.
And if you're in the Bitcoin mining business, you've got to get paid. Otherwise, you're just wasting your money on electricity. And so if the price of Bitcoin drops below a certain threshold, it would be economically advantageous for every person that has all of the network administrators basically to shut off their computers. And that's the death of Bitcoin. So I think that Bitcoin will die because it just uses too much electricity. It's just ridiculous. And there's other currencies like Cloudcoin and that can just Cloudcoin is literally 10,000 times more efficient than Bitcoin. And so I just think that Bitcoin is going to go the way of the dinosaurs. People are going to stop using it. It's just too expensive.
All right. So just clarify this a little bit. I understand what you're saying, and I'm not sure exactly how it works. But if they stop mining Bitcoin, then how does that affect the whole infrastructure of Bitcoin?
Well, so the infrastructure is the miners.
Right.
And so you have all these people that download a wallet, if you want to call it that. Wallet is not really what it is. It is the blockchain. And they will start handling transactions, and then they get to guess numbers. And if they guess the number correctly, they get a Bitcoin. That makes them a miner.
Correct.
That makes them a Bitcoin miner. And without the miners and without those computers running, Bitcoin doesn't work. Now, they can do something called charging fees, and they're able to do that. And it could be that they would switch from what we've seen in the past, at least when the bubble happened, the Bitcoin miners started charging a whole bunch of fees, and it was costing $45 per transaction. And they could do that, but that's going to just turn off everybody that wants to use Bitcoin, except for maybe people that are doing $1 million transactions or something. And so I can see that as it becomes more difficult to mine, it's just not going to be worth it if there's some kind of competition that can do it more efficiently. We have to economize as human beings, and Cloudcoin certainly is a more economical choice.
So once the miners stop mining, then the Bitcoins don't get validated? Is that what happens? Because
nobody's there to handle the transactions.
Right.
And so what will happen is the transaction, the time to clear a transaction will go up, maybe even take days. And that's going to be so intolerable that nobody's going to want to deal with it.
I totally agree with you. What about the fact that the velocity of transactions, daily transactions, is down to like less than a third of what it was at the peak? The peak was almost 500,000 transactions a day. Now we're looking at less than 150,000. What does that do to the Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency marketplace?
Well, it just shows that the people that tried it didn't like it. And in fact, we can see, I've seen some discussions and seen some scientific studies on this, and that is that people are leaving Bitcoin because it's too dang slow and too inconvenient. And so people are choosing something else, or they're just not being in the market at all.
Interesting. And what about the other competing coins? Because, you're all in the same space effectively, one way or another. I mean, people are looking at your coins, they look at cloud coins, look at Litecoin, they'll look at Dash, Ripple, whatever it is. What about those other ones? Do they suffer similar latent defects like Bitcoin?
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of defects that they have, and it's hard for a normal person to see those defects. But with my training and my model of perfect money, I can see all their problems, and I can see when those currencies will hit the wall, and what will cause them to hit the wall. And different currencies have different problems. Some of them don't have the speed problem, and so they're not going to have that latency issue, but they've got other issues.
Sure. So they've all got something. What do you think is going to blow up first? If you had to take a hazard a guess, with all, we had 2,000 of these currencies. Obviously, we don't need 95% of them. They're pointless. They're just there. I call them kleptocurrencies, but they're pointless, right? I mean, they serve zero purpose other than to separate you from your money.
Yeah, these people, these currencies were not created by computer scientists. They were created by marketers. Right. And they just took the code that Bitcoin had. It was all open source. They just copied and pasted it, changed its name, called it hygiene coin or something, or long life coin. It's going to make everybody live longer. And went out and bullshitted people into buying that. It's just ridiculous. And so it's no surprise to me that it's collapsed. But at the same time, it's like the internet, the .com bubble that we had. There are some actually good products there. It's just that you've got to wade through this massive amount of hyped up marketing to find them.
Yeah, well, I couldn't put it better myself. But when we look, some fear of the solidity, of the strength, of the long-term viability of the dollar is certainly understandable and prudent. And then, so then you have to get into alternative means of storing wealth. So then we've got gold and silver. We've got tangible assets. You could buy a $450 million Michelangelo painting, right? If you can afford such a thing. Collectibles, you could be buying, 1960s vintage Ferraris for $25 million or McLarens, whatever. But you gotta, if you're worried about having all of your wealth in paper, you got to look to put it someplace else. So therefore, cryptos built in by definition have got a seat at the table of wealth preservation for the future, not to mention the fact that they're also great for asset protection without getting into that. So that being the case, the argument for cryptos is pretty compelling, isn't it?
I think so. And, we've done something even, the biggest thing about cryptos is that you can move them all around the world day or night, not having to pay any taxes, not having to pay any tariffs. And if we can gain privacy where the government doesn't know that we have money and doesn't know that we're, doing business, that is going to be a big empowering factor. And with gold and silver, I know, unfortunately, people get it ripped off and stolen, and the government has actually, confiscated it. You can come in with metal detectors and find it, but with digital currency, in theory, it might be possible, or I think it's, we've done it with CloudCoin, is that we can make it so that people don't know that you have it. We've got 100% privacy. Yeah,
which is a good thing. I know that you're definitely going to be interested in finding out more about this. You've really hit a good note here and really provided something very useful, Sean. So where do we find out more about CloudCoin? Where do we connect with you on the internet? Places we can go?
Sure. If they go to cloudcoin.global, that's our consortium website. And they can also, if they want to get a free copy of my book, which is Beyond Bitcoin, The Future of Digital Currency, they can get that at digitalfrontiernews.com. And they also get 5 free cloud coins if they sign up for the newsletter.
All right. Excellent. Well, we will have a link to the site on our site, Financial Survival Network. Sign up for the newsletter, our newsletter. And while you're at it, be part of the show. Send us an email to kl@kerrylutz.com. And let's see, the Twitter feed is @KerryLutz, and the Facebook page is Financial Survival Network. Sean, it's been really fascinating speaking with you. Very enlightening. Learned things. Who would think that all of these other cryptocurrencies have got defects that threaten their long-term viability? I've never read anybody who said that, hey, once you stop mining Bitcoins, that's the end of Bitcoins. So, and, I was always saying when Bitcoins are outlawed, only outlaws will have Bitcoins, but I don't even think the outlaws will have them either.
No, the outlaws are switching to something else. And that's not, that's only one of the problems. There's many more, including that it's not quantum safe. And they go on something called consensus, and consensus is not truth. And so we've seen a cryptocurrency called BitGold that was hacked by these consensus vulnerabilities. There's all kinds of problems.
BitGold was one of the first ones. It was the first gold-backed cryptocurrency out there. I didn't know they had hacked BitGold. That's a little disconcerting there, but to be expected, because as long as it's anonymous online theft, there's going to be a lot of it, that's for sure. Hey, well, we really appreciate your taking your time out to talk with us, Sean. We're definitely going to have you back because there's so many issues. On my show, we are constantly bombarded with questions from you out there on all these issues, of which many I can't answer. So next time we'll do a Q&A. We'll have you on. Really appreciate your coming on again, Sean, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
Sounds wonderful. Talk to you then.
FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.